Good morning, podcast community. This is going to be the most important podcast you'll ever see if you're a business owner. Now, if you're not a business owner, you can just go about your Saturday. But if you're a business owner and you have a message and you have a story and you have a service that you want to get out, you want to listen carefully to this. We got some cool things going on and I want to share them with you. 3 things. Why does podcast matter? Okay, you're saying, wow, there's thousands of podcasts out there. Yes, you're right. I wonder if there's a reason. Do you think podcast has come of age? Do you think the older media of the big 3 TV stations or big 4, whatever you want to say, have been losing people left and right? You're right. People watch podcasts for their information. They watch their podcast, what they're interested in, not what they decide to send over the airwaves. It's a choice. We've come to a place in our economy where choice matters and podcast matters. I'm going to give you 3 reasons how, if you can capture these 3 reasons and understand them. And the reason I put this on the Mindset podcast, because you're going to have to shift your mindset to a different way of building your business. Now, the first, I should introduce myself on PodcastPete. I've done well over 200 podcasts. And I started out as Golfer Pete, but wasn't playing any golf. So it's hard to be Golfer Pete when you don't play. So this is coming to you from PodcastPete in the senior community, because I moved into a senior community. I was able to experience being a senior. It's a big difference. I have people that want to do something, but they truly have never experienced it. When your heart matches your mind, that's when you have the true connection. I got to understand seniors from being one, from living with one. We're living with many. Over here at Overture, which is average age is 80. Somebody told me, I don't know if it's true, but it's pretty close because we have them from all ages. But here's what I want my business owners to dial into, because starting May 1st, you're going to see something pretty amazing. It's been 1 year in the making, 15 hours a day, 6.5 days a week of doing nothing but one thing. What do you think that one thing is? Podcasting. I don't have TV. I don't do social. I don't have a social life. I do one thing. Think about my consumers, my people, the stories that I've been able to hear. Because every single day I do a podcast, I learn. I learn from people. And we should learn from people. You never stop learning. You keep growing. You keep challenging yourself. You keep exploring what you never thought was possible. So I'm just going to give you 3 things today. Then we're going to have some cool offers. And I'm going to tell you about an event you want to be. Only if you like to laugh. Only if you like comedy. But that's coming up, and I'll tell you at the end of the podcast. So here's the first one. Community. Why is community important? Because today, if you're not part of a community, you're disconnected. Why do communities matter? Because it's like-minded people that have a reason to be a part of that community. And what does that mean? It means it's a safe community. People want to be safe today. They don't want to be part of the takers that come in and just take and leave. We call them sharks. We like dolphins. Dolphins swim together and they look after each other. So in the podcast community, this is a safe place. Let me repeat it, safe. So why do we do a podcast? Because we're looking for nice people. So if you're a nice person and you get on the podcast, then you're part of our community. If you're not a nice person, and there's a bunch of people out there that aren't, you don't get invited to our community. We want our businesses, our consumers, senior citizens, to feel safe, to be safe from the scam artists, from the people out there that just want to take from our seniors. And that's going to stop because we're creating a massive community of safe people that operate in a nice, everybody encourages each other, everybody gives. My friend Jim Rapps, he was on this week with Larry, the dreamer, and a dream vacation, making those experiences lasting and memorable. But Jim said givers gain. It's part of BNI's concept. Givers gain. Givers make a difference. Takers are out there. They don't last. They're transactional. They burn their bridges. They burn their friendships. They burn their business. Whatever it is, they don't last. But givers do. So when you're part of Podcast Academy, there we go. Our podcast community. I gave away Podcast Academy. It's coming up. Okay. If you're part of that, then you're in an environment of good people, people looking out for you, people wanting to promote you, people wanting to refer you. And that's important in business because, as my partner Jeff Bourgeois said, the difference between cold traffic and warm traffic is this. If you get a lead, the first thing, and it's cold, the first thing they ask you, what's your price? Now you got to be on your heels defending price. And in a lot of situations, 3 people following up on a lead, and you got to beat the other 2. And you got to be quick because sometimes they want to make a decision. So you go low, which is the worst thing to do because you can't show your value by communicating your story, your message, and what you've been able to do to service your particular clients. So why is podcasting powerful? Why do we see thousands of podcasts out there? Because they're stories. People love stories. People love hearing stories. People like telling stories. People learn from stories. And that's what you get from podcasting. You get to learn. You get to learn about a person. People like to know you, like you, and trust you before they're going to do business. With a podcast and with several podcasts from a particular person, you're able to get to know the person, hear the value that that person provides for their ideal client. So podcasting works, but here's the downside to podcasting. Everybody wants to be a Joe Rogan. They want to wake up and have millions of viewers. Doesn't work that way. He spent his whole career preparing for this podcast. If you read his story, you understand he didn't just fall off the apple cart yesterday and become Joe Rogan. Yes, he was born Joe Rogan, but his experiences shaped him into a person that now is crushing it on Spotify, crushing it on podcasting because he's transparent. He brings wonderful guests on there and he tells you the truth. And truth matters. We know by what we've just gone through in the last few years. I don't know that some people know what the truth is because they've never been truthful. But when you're truthful and transparent and you share the truth, people like that. People want to be a part of that. So Podcasting does matter. In our case, we're not looking for millions of viewers at the beginning. We're looking for relationship building. We're building relationships within our community. We're connecting people. We're introducing people. We're making an environment of warm relationships, all looking out for each other. We had a situation the other day. Well, I don't have permission to tell it, so I won't. But one person called me and was able to share 2 pieces of business he picked up from his podcast and from getting to know somebody. Significant piece of business, both businesses. So what I'm saying is, when you are able to communicate your value through podcasting, through stories, people follow you. When they follow you, they get to know you more. When they like you and do business with you, they refer you because you are something that has some person or service that is taking care of them. So we look long term. I have a 10-year plan, and we're just starting May 1st. So if you've been on my podcast, which 200 plus people have, I have learned a whole lot. So I have 30, you heard me, 30 podcasts, niche podcasts being introduced May 1. 30 different podcasts in 1 week. So majority of them already have a co-host, already have somebody leading that podcast. So let me give a reach out, or shout out to people. If you haven't been on my podcast, get a hold of me. Let me just put a little plug in here, podcasterpetecane.com, or you can call me direct, 404-428-3006. Why do I give my phone number? Because I don't answer it unless you come up in my address book. So if you're a spammer, don't waste your time because I'm not answering the phone. So podcasterpetecane.com, you want to be a guest? Go ahead, reach out, schedule some. You'll be asked about why you want to be on the podcast. And if you're a nice person and you have a service, you have a story to tell, we want you on there, especially in the Kennesaw area, because that's where we're starting out. And we're starting out with seniors. So if you're in senior living and in the Kennesaw area or Atlanta area, reach out to me. We'll put you on the podcast. And you can go to podcasterpetecane.com and see the past episodes. Everything is kicking in May 1. Okay, now that's 2. The last thing I want you to think about, got to sit up here. Okay, here we go. The last thing I want to think about, branding. Why is branding important? Well, for those that know about Charlie Munger, I think, Charlie, and I'm drawing a blank. Oh, geez, this is embarrassing. What is that gentleman is doing real good? Okay, you know who I mean. I'll think about it just a second. Okay, one of his 8 principles before he passed was on a podcast was branding. Branding matters because people see your branding. Look at Coca-Cola. Look at AT&T. Look at Apple. Look at any company that's big. What's common amongst them all? They have a brand. And when you have a brand, people recognize it and they want to do business with a brand that communicates what they want to be a part of. So we have a group of people from Brazil that do our branding, and you're going to see it next week, and you're going to see why branding matters. So, okay, let's recap this. Let me go back to my cards. Hey, why are they green? Okay, you can guess. Community of safe people. We're building a community of Podcaster Pete. 2, podcasting stories matter. People remember stories. And 3, branding. Let me see. There we go. Oh, I'll put it over here. Branding matters. And when you have branding, you have a community, and you have stories, you get a winning combination. So here we go. Here's the offer. All right. First, I want to talk about our book project. This is the first collaborative book. So if you do business in this space, which is seniors, you want to be in this book. Why? Because it's a collaboration of stories, chapters in the book are from the stories. And you have potentially, we don't know how many people will be in it. There are $50 mentions, and they're between $500 and $1,000 for a chapter. Now, why would anybody spend that money? Because they want to grow their business. They want 100 plus people promoting their business. They want to be in a safe community, and they want to learn how powerful podcasting is. Because look at the second one. We have our Podcasting Academy. That's $350 a month for 6 months. Now, what do you get for that? Well, you get everything. All you have to do is show up with this in your stories and be able to bring people on your podcast that are able to tell your story even more effective. So you just show up. We do everything for you. You heard me, everything. And why would we do that? Because we want you to focus on one thing, your story and getting good at podcasting. Because when you focus on one thing, you get good, you get better, and you keep getting better because you're not doing 50 things. Because today it's real easy to get distracted with busy work. I see it every day. People are busy being busy. But you have to remember, the one thing that you're good at that you can never outsource is this, the brain. Your experiences over your lifetime or over your career or over the time frame that you started that business. Your story means something. You can't outsource your story to another person. You're the best person to share that story because you're passionate about what you're doing. Now, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, good luck, because you're not going to get anywhere. And I take passion with this. Passion means you believe in what you do. Your heart matches your head. And when your heart matches your head, you're able to communicate the story that people will want to hear. And the better you get at communicating your story, the better you'll be. I had a lady on yesterday, and she's a connector, and she is a person of influence. When you understand her story, you can understand why. Growing up in the military, moving around, being flexible, always having to adapt and connect, being raised around her brothers. So you can't, one sister's not, has to compete with the brothers. So she developed some important skills. And my gosh, I'll just tell her, Christina, you watch that podcast from yesterday, and you'll see why this lady is going to crush. She's already crushing it. Man, it's no secret. But now I can see why. And you will follow a person like that. You will gain knowledge when you are around a person like that because they're making an impact in the community and in the space that she's in. Because watch out in the next few years because she's on the move. So, and before her was another person. You're going to see her in Ackworth. That's Kimberly. Man, this lady I thought she had been a member of Rotary for a couple of years when I met it. And when I found out a couple months, I was going, whoa, did I not see that? Because she's a connector. She has a radiant personality. She has something that's contagious. And when you hear her story, how she's impacting seniors with what she's doing and what she's going to be doing in Ackworth real soon. Next year, you're going to want to vote for her because you want people in politics with a heart. You want people that want to make an impact on people, not themselves, which in too many situations, people get into politics for the wrong reasons, to get rich. We see that at the top. And it's not, yes, we do see it at the top. So let me go back to this. So to be a part of this project, you want to go to you want to go to Podcaster Pete Kane or call me at 404-428-3006. All right, so let me get rid of that and let me put something up out here. This is where you're going to have some fun. Okay, for those in Atlanta, if you haven't heard of Ken Kington, you've been living under a rock because this guy's been making people laugh for years. Like, I don't know, I think he's 60, I'm guessing. So maybe 30 years. He's been out there just entertaining, clean comedy. And if you want to really hear, so you have to go this. Let me go to it right now. See this QR code right in the middle there? Scan it. Air Bar. And he did a performance up in Salt Lake City. 45 minutes. You will be laughing so hard, the back of your head will ache because he's nonstop. 45 minutes of nonstop comedy that just, you having a bad day, listen to that. You'll have a better day because you'll be laughing. And we need to laugh more. We need to have fun. We need to enjoy. And why are we doing this event? I want to get back to this. Adult children are busy in their careers. Their senior parents are changing. They're, you have we call it the first stage, which is senior living. It can be independent living. Then you go into the second phase, which is assisted. And then you have memory care. But each one of them presents challenges. And what are those challenges? They're different ones for every person. And what you have to do is recognize when your mom and dad need resources to make their transition to either the next stage or the one they're in. So we're going to bring our vendors together to give you choices on what is available out there. What you don't know, you don't know. If you all of a sudden, I wish I would have known that. That's a lot of times how it is because we're busy. We're busy. Mom and dad don't know what's out there. You don't know what's out there, but we're going to shorten that information loop. And we're going to have a resource book, the collaborative book that'll give you options and stories about people that can help your mom and dad. And as a adult children, whatever, and I'm in it because my mom's 94, I'm 66. So you have to know what's available. Things change, and they have changed. And if you're not available, if you don't know what's available, the safety of your mom and dad can be at risk because you always have to know your options. So this is May the 22nd, 6 o'clock. Now, why do we do it at 6 o'clock? Well, our seniors need to get to bed. I go to bed at 8:30, so maybe I'm out till 9 that night. But here's the thing. 6 o'clock, we have Larry Hauser, who's one of us. I'm in a small group, and I have seen him and been around him for about a year. And I'm telling you what, he has that natural humor. He's always been doing it. His daughters roll their eyes at him because he's been doing it his whole life. But now he's going to do it for our seniors. Bring some laughter. Then Melissa will come on right after Larry. Melissa's a rising star. She's organizing she's a promoter and an organizer. So she's organizing the comedians. We're going to have this once a quarter. And we're going to have a live event where you can come out, laugh, bring your mom and dad, have a date with them, date night, laugh, enjoy, and then eat some light hors d'oeuvres, because our vendors will have light hors d'oeuvres at the table. So after Melissa performs, we'll take a break and we'll allow you to get to know our vendors, see what they have. The books will be available then, so you'll be able to have access to a guide. You can actually you can turn the pages. You don't have to go online and see everything, because seniors don't always go online, and you got to see stuff. You got to feel stuff. Print is still available. Everybody thinks that digital is going to wipe out print. Never, never. We like to feel and touch things. There are some advantages to both. But when you have both podcasting stories combined with a book, then you have both the senior parents and the adult children being able to utilize it. So these are just podcasters that we've done that have been on the show, and we put it into a chapter. And I want you to see this, because this is pretty amazing. I'll come back to this. Okay, Rand, here you go. Here, let me get this. Okay. All right, there he is. There's my buddy, Rand Eberhardt. Man, this guy's, he's a golfer friend of mine, but he works at the Church of the Apostles, and he's been serving for almost 20 years. So why his story's in here? Let me see if I can read the importance of being patient, the essence of relationship, digital age dilemma, pathway to healing and hope. I can't read the top one there. And the takeaways. All this is that's his story. So if you needed some help, you call him, because he knows everybody in the city. Everybody. So you need somebody, which I called him when I needed somebody. He gave me the best person I've ever been a part of, Bruce Cerrone. Bruce, this is a shout out for you. Man, he called it. I'm telling you, that's podcast for another day. But Rand pointed me to the right person that could help. And that's what Rand does, is he's been in this community for almost 20 years. He served at the Church of the Apostles. He's met a lot of people. He's a good golfer. And man, is he a good putter. He almost won the putting championship at Pine Tree last year. He had the most miraculous win in the semifinals. And it's kind of like you win and now you got to step in and play the finals. So emotionally, it's tough, because you come out of a win and now you got to change your mindset and go back to playing. Well, by the time he got a feel of things, he was down 4 or something. And that is not a recipe to win. And his opponent had been practicing and just waiting. Wasn't an emotional win. He was just waiting, practicing. And he won. So not Rand, but his opponent. So let me get back to this. So yes, this is an example of the story. Whoa, 29 minutes. I got to close this up. Okay. So let me do this. Okay. Oops. Nope. There we go. Okay. So you want to sign up? Go to PodcastPete.com. I'll have the meetup and the tickets. They're $15 a piece. If you're a senior living facility and you want to buy 10 tickets and distribute them to your residents, or do however you want, you can buy them for $10 a piece, but you have to buy 10 at a time. So we're going to fill this place up. This is Grace Church right by the mall, Shogun and Patel's Market, right between that, on the way to PGA Superstore. You probably passed it. Hey, we were in a tent for a year, so you probably saw a tent out there. It wasn't a revival. It was a flooding, the backup of sewage from Cobb County. So we finally got that all straight. A year later, got moved into new facility, new stage, everything. You're going to be able to see. Big screen, new stage. Oh, it's perfect. It's wonderful. So you go through a tragedy, but God shines on that situation and made the most amazing setup and just the way that they put it together and the hard work. It wasn't easy, but it's done now. So that's where we're going to have the event. May the 22nd, Wednesday night. So all my churchgoers that go to church on Wednesday night, you can still go to church, but this time you're going to laugh. You're going to have a fun time, and you're going to be with your mom and dad. So that's a double whammy. A date with mom and dad, hang out Wednesday night at the church, laugh, enjoy some comedy with your mom and dad, and that's just going to be a special night. So go ahead and go to podcasterpetecane.com, call direct. And I did put this on my Facebook. So if you go over to, well, it'll be set up by next week, but I have a business page. I don't usually do this, but I had some problems with Facebook yesterday. So anyway, so share this with people that you know. We want to have a lot of people. Here we go. Come out and see Ken, Melissa, and Larry. Get ready to laugh, get ready to have some fun, and get ready to enjoy an evening with your mom and dad. So I'm Podcast Pete. I want to thank you for your attention. Man, I didn't think I'd be 30 minutes on this, but hey, time flies when you're having fun. So I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, wonderful Saturday. Enjoy your weekend and be ready when we launch May 1st, 30 niche podcast will be happening every week. So if you're interested in nutrition, there'll be one on nutrition. If you're interested in senior living, aging in place, memory care, if you're interested in fitness, if you're interested in mindset from a standpoint of a military mindset, we have Melissa Charles. She's going to be on here soon. We have so many individual niche podcasts. There's one that you'll enjoy. You'll probably enjoy more than one because we want to give you something that you can gain knowledge and fun from and excitement. Learn the stories from the people and see how you can be served by that information. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Keep learning.